Hey, it's Blastzone Mike, and this is Out of the Box. And tonight, our special guest is Big John from Rock of Love. He's worked with bands like Rat, Poison. He's going on the Poison tour. If it happens, which we'll talk about him touring and stuff later on, because we want to know about his point of view of the state of music and concerts right now. And take it away, the rest of you.
My name is KiKi. You can see me on Divine Vision Spirit Room on YouTube. I do tarot readings, and I'm also a Reiki healer.
My name is Johnathan Tiersten, and I am mostly known for being in Sleepaway camp.
There you go. So, I guess the big question on everybody's mind is, do you think that we're going to open back to the United States by May 1st?
No.
Oh, hell no.
No.
Hell no.
Hell no.
Hell no, we won't go.
Do we think Donald Trump's tan is real?
Jesus. I mean, the thing is that
honestly,
this happened to China in October of last year, and it didn't get bad for them until January. So to say that we have not hit our peak yet is freaking ridiculous, because we just started our wave just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, it's hit the big cities, but now it's going to hit the middle
Yeah,
of the country.
It's trickling down. I think right now where we're at, we have 250 in Kern County, 1,000 in Los Angeles. I'm not I think that was like last week or whatever. I try not to watch the news because it's just so freaking depressing. And now they're starting with this freaking race crap, saying that mostly African Americans are going to be affected by this pandemic. And I really think that they shouldn't do that. I really think they should not bring it down to race. Because once you put fear and someone doesn't like that race for whatever reason, then they'll think that they're invincible with their train of thought.
And KiKi, it's not about race. It's about
poverty. It's not.
It's about poverty. It's about poor people are going to die more than people with money. That's as simple as it.
But they don't say that.
Everything. And the same thing happens with the actual flu. And it's, I'm living in Jersey, which is, we're right in the epicenter of this whole thing.
Right.
I haven't left my room practically other than to go to the bathroom in 2 weeks. And, there's the psychological element to that too. We're all freaking out. We don't know what we're doing. I spoke to Felissa earlier today, and she said one day is running into another, and she's been locked in the house with her 3 kids, for 2 weeks now, where you are.
I don't know what the hell y'all are talking about. I'm out flying, and I'm flying from Scottsdale to LA and LA back to Cincinnati and everything. This is a joke. It is a joke. The numbers are so elevated, it's not even funny.
Hold on just a minute, Ocho. I want to. By the way, Michael Ocho's in the room now, so good to have you here, Ocho.
What up, brother?
I want John to go a little more in detail on that, because he's been helping with the Poison tour, and he's been meeting with people about that tour. And tell people about flying, John, because a lot of people don't realize that people are still flying, people are still doing things. Kind of elaborate on that a little bit.
Here's the thing, and don't get me wrong, there is a virus out there. There are people getting sick, but they say don't compare it to the flu or anything else. To some extent, I agree. But when you start breaking things down, the flu has a 20 to 30% mortality rate. At this point right now, the coronavirus has a 3% mortality rate. Cancer has a 99% mortality rate. If you want to break it down, how come the world doesn't stop for cancer, suicide, everything else?
Obesity.
Okay, those numbers are just wrong.
About 300,000 a year.
Wrong. Wait, those numbers are just wrong.
You want me to do the math right now?
I can do the numbers. Cancer as like a 0.01%. I mean, The flu has like a 0.01%, whereas coronavirus has
Last year,
somewhere between 1 and 2%.
80,000 people
Um,
died
cancer,
worldwide.
cancer, it's dependent upon the cancer. There's a lot of different cancers, obviously. Pneumonia has a different rate. The problem is that this thing is so viral that everybody's going to get it eventually.
Well,
Literally half the country. And the numbers just spiked yesterday when they realized people who were dying at home. So we're up to 30,000 deaths now.
Okay.
Inside of 2 months.
Take 215,000 cases times
We're well over 500,000 documented cases, and we're getting close to 1 million.
That's even better for me.
No, I mean, it's not good for anybody. We need a vaccine.
Died.
But young people are dying. One of the doctors who was on the at the beginning of this in China died at 33.
John.
Oh, I'm not saying people. I'm not saying it's just elderly. What I'm saying is,
John,
the only way to stem the tide of this virus is by staying at home. Period. That's it.
John also has a weakened immune system because, I mean, it's not nothing he had before.
I was up for a heart transplant 3 years ago, and I'm still out traveling. I'm still out. Listen, everybody wearing these masks and these gloves and all this stuff, it ain't going to help. Because
masks and gloves are probably not going to be nearly as good as social distancing. I would agree.
But see, here's the thing. Why, by everybody wearing these masks and by pushing these masks and everything in the beginning, the people who need them, who are legitimately need them, doctors, lawyers, or doctors, surgeons, just people in the standard ER or quick trauma, those, what do they call them, quick health things, that
PPEs.
They don't have them because
I agree.
Masks and gloves in the beginning, and now nobody has them.
I agree.
Michael wants to say something. You want to let Michael talk for a minute, okay?
Yeah, the fact. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, the fact is that there's not regular testing either, so we don't even know how many cases there really are out there. It could be a lot more than what we even think. And we got people like here. I got people out there when they're supposed to be on lockdown, and they're stuff like if they normally are doing normal stuff on daily life. So if anything, people aren't listening to what they're supposed to do, and their stupid acts are what's causing us to stay longer in isolation.
Perfect example of that is what I was bitching about on my Facebook today. Kentucky, while our governor, which is considered the number one governor in the United States because he has got his shit together, along with your governor in Indiana, John's governor in Indiana, and then Ohio. All three of them are working together right now because they all understand what the significance of what's going on. He talked about that today, the governor of Kentucky. While he's trying to talk about it and tell people that people died, there's people outside picking him because they want to go back to work. But, somebody brought up a good point. If you're so worried about going back to fucking work, why do you got masks on? So there should be a problem there, right? If you got masks on and you feel like there might be a problem, why should you go back to work? Me personally, I'm to the point where let them go back to work. Let's weed everybody out, And then when you need a ventilator because you're a stupid ass, because you're mass gathering and doing stupid shit like you're doing, don't give them ventilators. Because there's other people that did what they're supposed to do to have ventilators.
If we go back to work right now, you're going to see these numbers spike like nothing.
That's my point.
I mean, we have never seen any. I know, I agree with you. We've never seen anything like this in our lifetime. But when Trump says nobody saw this coming,
we did see it coming.
George W. Bush started this pandemic. Whatever it was, commission in his administration. Okay, he started it, a Republican president, and said, "This is the greatest threat that we have. It makes 9/11 look like nothing," which is what we're already dealing with.
Yeah.
And that's terrifying, because once we open the government back up, I mean, and there's, obviously the duality of this, which is that we're dealing with the collapse of our economy simultaneously.
Oh yeah,
a terrible health crisis, and that's a staggering thing to think about. Now, when the China's second wave come, but the thing that's really insane, okay, is that in America, where we have a tenth of China's population, a tenth, we have 10 times more cases.
Let's see, this is my.
Did you ever see the protective gear? Now, I don't know if I buy this or not, but did you ever see the protective gear that they were wearing in China? They were wearing full body suits.
Unbelievable. Yeah, I agree.
Masks, have charcoal filters, and we're just sticking with the damn surgical mask.
And they locked everybody down.
Yeah, and I'm not advocating martial law, but if this is real, and here's the weird thing: the reason I'm saying it's not as bad as I think is because late January, early February, I had a flu that kept me in bed for freaking almost 3 weeks. Couldn't eat, couldn't drink. Did I have it? I don't know. I honestly don't. As much as I travel, there's a good chance that I have it. But once you have it, you build up antibodies. What I can't figure out is why in the hell can't they find somebody who's had it?
Well, that's what they're trying to figure out. They don't know that for sure. They don't know that people can't get it twice. That's what they're trying to figure out. That's what Dr. Anthony Fauci keeps talking.
I remember when
that's the whole premise.
He was talking about that. I didn't hear that. I didn't.
That's the whole premise of the idea of, do people who get it once build up antibodies? Because if that's the case, then hallelujah, right?
Yeah, it'd be great.
We're all better off, right? But
I agree with John, though. Let me tell you, I agree with John, because I think a lot of people back in late December and in January had this already, and they just didn't know what it was.
Yeah, but we're not scientists.
So technically,
Mike.
wait, Johnathan, wait. Technically, so we really don't know true numbers, because there's a lot of people that died in December, January.
Yes,
a lot of people that had it probably in December, January. I know people that live where I live that, my kids.
Well, but that's why the numbers spiked yesterday.
Oh yeah.
All of them, they had flu. Me and Hope.
But the numbers spiked yesterday. Do you know why?
We never got it. So
do you know why the numbers spiked yesterday?
Where did the numbers spike? Just nationwide?
Because they finally did an estimation of people who actually stayed at home and never went to a hospital and died. And so yesterday, the death toll went from 20,000 to 30,000. It went up by 27%. And because they finally realized that a lot of people just never went to the hospital. And that's still probably a very low estimation. I'm not saying that it's not getting better in New York and New Jersey, which is where I'm from, because it is. The curve is starting to flatten, which is amazing. But across the middle of the United States, that curve is about to start to grow. And what we're unfortunately dealing with is a political position on the disease, which is Republican governors opening up their states before they should. I know that I have faith, because you know what, Democrats and Republicans travel equally. They just do. So people are going to go to the middle of the country. I lived in Colorado for 25 years. They're going to go to the middle of the country, and they're going to bring the virus with them, whether they're symptomatic or asymptomatic.
And they got to have money for that.
Yeah. But unfortunately, the people who are there are not going to have money.
But the thing is that a lot of people to help them. But a lot of people are not going to be moving. The
virus doesn't care where you move.
Did she freeze?
She froze up.
I think she froze up.
So, she got corona.
So let's
about but what are they going to possibly do? Is it a worse situation? It's literally like The Walking Dead. You can't just up and leave right now because now you don't know if you're going to be the one that's going to bring the contagion to this new area. I mean, Mike already said in Kentucky that one poor girl that has corona, everybody wants to lynch her.
Well, let's move on to something else because I want to get John's perspective of things because one thing that we've heard and we've seen. One thing that we've heard and seen is that concerts are all going to be called off until 2021. Festivals are being shut down, but Tommy Lee keeps on saying the Poison Tour is going to happen. And I know you can't talk a lot about it because you're under contract and that type of thing. So I don't want to. I'm not saying I want you to talk about that specific tour. What I'm saying is, what do you think about people saying that there might not be no tours until 2021?
It's a catch-22, and I'll tell you why. Because let's say they get this under grips and this shit's over with in May. Okay? Our tour is supposed to start June 18th in Jacksonville, Florida. We're talking stadiums where there's 70, 80, 100,000 people. We've sold over 2 million tickets for the tour this summer. How many of those people, if this thing ends in May, are going to be willing to go into a stadium where they're cram-packed and they're standing 2 inches from somebody else? I don't think, I know I sure as hell wouldn't. I'm lucky enough that I'm back on the stage. But if I guarantee you that if I was just a common concert goer who has to stand next to somebody I don't know for 3 hours and wonder, okay, yeah, is this shit going to resurface or whatever? I don't know who I'm standing next to. I don't think that 2021 is even going to happen.
Right.
It's going to affect everything.
Man, John.
All sports, because nobody's going
to. Yeah, everything. I mean,
that is a profound.
Everything. I honestly don't see everything resurging in 2021. I think it's going to be less than that because small promoters and small venues and stuff that basically they live off of the shows, and a lot of them lose money and a lot of them do this, but they continue to have lost everything. There's going to be one major promoter now, and it's Live Nation.
Yeah, it's like when I used to live in Denver. Nobody in particular. I'm sure you're familiar with them, and and those type of promoters. I mean, they're done because they're
done. Yeah, there's no way that they're going to survive this. None.
And so my question is, wait, I have a question for John.
Okay, go ahead.
This is, I honestly don't know the answer to this, and for me, who works as an actor and does horror conventions and works as a tennis professional, and I have no idea what my future holds. Like zero. None.
For me,
my question to John is, if it's 2022, what world are we living in? I mean, I don't know. What are we living in, John? What? I mean, how does this? When does it end, and how do we come back to some sense of normalcy?
The world's never going to be what we knew 10 years ago, ever again. The weird thing about this virus, this disease, whatever they're calling it, is from this point on, you are never going to have anything other than social distancing. People are going to become so paranoid, so used to this 6-foot mandated distance that, I used to walk up, hey man, what's up, brother? Give him a hug, whatever. Those days are over.
Yeah, no more concerts.
The not just concerts, baseball, football. I think everything is going to be half of what we've ever known.
Baseball, football, and whatever, basketball, hockey, they can survive because of TV, right?
No, not necessarily, because
but musicians
sales are from tickets.
But musicians can't, because the only way to make money in music nowadays is to tour, right?
Oh, hell no. You know how many musicians right now are doing live concerts on live stream and stuff like that, and they're
I
charging.
watched Erica Badu about 5 times
There you go. Listen,
I do love her, by the way.
in her bedroom.
there's other ways for musicians to make money.
Yep,
Whether
you just have to be clever.
live concerts on what's a live stream or whatever that thing's called. There's other ways. Now the people that are going to hurt the most are the professional athletes, who I hope to God they've saved their money, because ticket sales and revenue is going to be cut in half, if not more.
Michael's next. What do you say, Michael? Then I got 2 things to add to that.
Yeah, it's yeah, they can do live streaming of events and stuff, but even like professional wrestling, I've seen it's just suffering. They've already fired.
That's what I do now. That's what I do now, and I'm telling you right now, there is nothing worse than going into an arena doing a show. Nobody, you feed off of the crowd.
I saw that they fired. Like,
That's the whole idea of professional wrestling.
WWE just fired 30 people today.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And also, what concerns me is school. Like for our children, is that ever going to be the same? I know they're talking about trying to get them back in as soon as possible, but to me, schools are like the petri dish of this whole thing, and to put them back too soon would just start this up all over again. So what my main concern is online schooling, homeschooling going to be the new norm, and they're going to continue for a while because parents are going to be scared sending their kids back to school. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I never thought about that.
No,
I'm not.
I can speak to this.
Not going back.
KiKi and I can speak to this personally. I mean, I said to my son, who's 14, that there's no way that he's going back to school this year. I mean, there's no chance.
No way.
And
not even in August.
And he said to me, Dad, my schooling lasts from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. A huge part of schooling is socialization.
Yeah.
It's what happens when you're at school.
Yeah.
So maybe there's 3 hours of learning, but then there's another 4 hours of, socialization and being around other kids.
Yeah, most illnesses come from children.
And so this has been.
I've had kids than ever before. You know what I mean?
This has been so disturbing to him. He is such a social kid. It's so messed up, And he said to me, Dad, I'm lucky I have so many friends, and I'm lucky that I have social, media and ways to contact them and blah, blah, blah. He's like, but I can't have anybody over the house or anything like that. And that's terrifying to me. I mean, I cannot imagine going through what he's going through at 14 years of age.
Hell no.
Well, first of all, you didn't have internet and you didn't have streaming service, so you probably would have killed yourself the 11th day in.
Well,
Thank you, KiKi.
I told
Thank you for that uplifting moment.
my dog,
I don't know if John's seen this or not.
we went through, because when we had to call somebody, there was no, so-and-so's calling. I said, now you're not using your caller ID, you're not using your internet. Sooner or later, it's going to be like back when we were kids, and they're going to have to. We went through.
Well, you got to say, Mike.
Wait,
did
John, with a dial phone.
Did you see this? That Ticketmaster wasn't giving back refunds for tickets?
It's because it hasn't been canceled yet. If it gets canceled, I'm sure they will.
They said they're not refunding anything. They said it wasn't their fault that the coronavirus happened.
Oh, they're gonna have to.
They'll
take the tax hit.
They're going to have to.
Yeah,
they'll
take the tax hit.
Yeah, there's no way they can keep that money.
It's like Mike, it's like the convention I was doing in Germany, I mean, and I was like finally going to go to Europe, and I was so excited.
Yeah,
Just a bunch of raspberries.
I was so excited. I was like, I'm finally going to Europe. And
when we've done venues and we've had shows and we've either postponed them, if they've officially got canceled, ticket monies were reimbursed. There's no way they're going to get away with keeping that money.
Yeah,
Johnathan,
we have to reimburse it.
Jonathan, you know this. We're screwed as actors. You know what I mean?
Dude. I mean, the only thing that keeps me going is that I still teach acting, which I do online, and I'm doing it after we're done with this. I mean, So thank God. But at least it's some source of income, so it's something I can do via Skype or FaceTime. But man, this is so twisted. I mean,
weird. I told you, I'm traveling and I'm doing all this and I'm doing all that. I don't know. I'm going to tell you what I found out too is I was in the Marines from 1989 to 1985 or 1995. I was in Somalia. I was in the Gulf War. I was in all that. They gave us shots and shit of God only knows what, because everybody in my unit, we have a Facebook page, and we all keep in touch. Not one of us, since we came back from Somalia, has had the sniffles, the flu. I mean, we've had the flu, it's common colds and shit like that. None of us have got majorly sick. And I'm like, what the hell did they give us?
A little bit of Rona.
Something good. They give you something good. But I'll tell you what they didn't give you is that they didn't.
They gave you a little bit of Captain America. Some of that.
They didn't understand this, and this is where the president fucked up so hugely, because this is where this needs to be a federal thing. This cannot be state.
At this point, I think you're right.
To figure this out.
At this point,
federal response to this. This is war.
Yep.
Okay, but the war happens to be against a virus. And what we have is a blithering, incompetent jackass trying to negotiate this, where he is self-aggrandizing for 2 hours every day. It's embarrassing as shit. And I'm like, I don't even care about how much I hate the guy, because I'm a New Yorker by birth, and I've always known about this jackass. But the fact is that we need someone, a czar or somebody, to take care of this thing and start to organize and use the Defense Protection Act. And the problem is, the only way we can reopen our country is with tests. That's it. Antibodies tests and proactive tests.
Yeah, but then you have, Johnathan, then you have the ones that don't believe in doing that stuff.
Well, I'm fine with that. So there's the 30% of the country that believes everything is a conspiracy. Okay, I can do it.
But I'm just saying that if this thing is as contagious as you say, and then you have the people that were talking to Becky and not taking vaccinations and doing whatever, then and they put this, and then now you have more people that are going to be fear mongering to themselves, because now they're listening to the wrong people because of the social distancing and being shut off. We had
that with the anti-vaxxers in, by the way, Los Angeles, and it wasn't just poor people, it was rich people.
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna run and get a cable.
And that's embarrassing and stupid. But you have to trust the science, because you got Dr. Anthony Fauci kowtowing to Trump just so he doesn't get fired, because he knows he's trying to do the greater good. That's all there is.
I got a question for John again. And he can answer, you don't have to. It's up to him. I know he talks to a lot of different musicians. I mean, he's been in the business forever, and he knows a lot of people. Can you give us any of the ways some of these musicians are thinking about things right now?
I can't do that. I can just tell you, all I can really tell you is that they're all hopeful that business will return to normal. There's some that are conspiracy theorists. There's some that are anti masks and gloves, and they think it's all a big hoax. And there's others that are terrified. I mean, it's the same as regular people. I mean, you've got your 3% that could care less and they think they're invincible, and you're 96% that lying, and you've got your 1% that think it's big conspiracy.
That does. I like your percentage.
Do you think, John? Do you think I went to John?
No, I think they were spot on.
Like 2 years ago, I went to WrestleMania 2 years ago, and you're in the wrestling business, so you understand what I'm talking about. do you think that the people who
I
were
love the
supposed
way
to
he
have
says wrestling.
wrestling in, um, in,
Wrestling.
in Tampa this year, do you think any of those people are going to be able to fight back for next year for WrestleMania to be able to do what they were supposed to do in Tampa? They lost all this money.
Here's the problem with wrestling, and it started many years ago with the transference of hepatitis C. We bleed, we cut, we do all kinds of stuff, and now no one knows exactly how this stuff is transferred. No one. They say it's from the nasal passages. They say it's through the eyes. God only knows. Just like HIV. During the HIV scare, and many years, what was that? 20 years ago.
Right.
You never saw wrestlers bleeding because nobody knew how the hell this thing started. Nobody knew where it was coming from. Nobody knew. We all stopped. That's when I was in ECW. Everything stopped. It was like, okay, we got to quit being hardcore. And I'm telling you, every business, not just wrestling, football, baseball. Watch how many precautions football players take now. They're going to be completely covered up until anybody figures out what exactly the hell this is. Nothing's going to go back to normal. Nothing.
Nope.
Yeah, you know what's weird? I wanted to bring up something, John, because I mean, our reaction to this is so different than certain other things. Remember when Magic came back to play the All-Star game?
Yeah.
And that was weird, right? Because it was really shortly, right, after
Yeah.
we thought he was dead.
Yeah. I mean,
Those players wanted to touch him.
at that time, having HIV was a death sentence.
It was,
Oh,
it was absolutely a death sentence, and that guy is still alive, which is like extraordinary. And a lot of doctors I know, because my ex-wife was one and my dad is one, that he became like the poster child for that you can survive HIV.
Absolutely.
And he also raised so much money for HIV awareness, you know. It's a staggering thing to think about. And
yeah, I mean,
yeah. I don't even know what to think about that though, because coronavirus is so different because it's so stealth, right?
Yes.
It's not a death sentence for most healthy people.
Correct.
It's just this insidious sort of snake.
I think the big problem,
certain people.
The big problem is, and this goes government, this goes CDC, this goes everyone. It's not so much that it's a virus that, that's transferring across the world. It's the fact that we can't get a cap on it. We can't figure. It's happening so fast.
Yeah, we can't cap it at all, right?
We can't head it off at the pass.
I mean, with HIV, it was like if you don't have sex, you're probably not going to get it.
Well, I wouldn't, because I would have
sex. As a horror movie star, that is the number one reason why people die.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Hey, so something funny. I gotta say this because I'm talking to John. Hey, John, at least if they canceled the Poison tour, you won't get 1,000 emails saying, "Hey, will you get me in for free?"
Oh, that's already stopped. Yeah, I had a post about 2 months ago.
Not even for me? You want me to let me in?
I put a post about 2 or 3 months ago. I said, if you ask me, you're deleted. Goodbye. Honestly, I said that way ahead of the curve. But honestly, it's not even under my control. If it was a Poison tour, absolutely. But the problem is Live Nation bought this package, so they're controlling the comp tickets.
Everybody thinks that everybody has total power over something.
Oh yeah,
and that's generally not the truth. Even the artists.
Oh yeah.
Like as an actor,
Live Nation bought the package. They're like, this is how many tickets you get for family. If you can't get it with this, then they're buying tickets.
Yep.
I'm like, Tom, you're not going to this one.
I still haven't given Mike a VIP pass for anything, so.
But
I give Mike passes for everything, huh, Mike?
Yeah, well, that's a joke between me and John, because John lives that far from me, so he come down to hang out with us for a show we did, and we had a great time. And that's one of his pet peeves. Don't ask for tickets because everybody asks him because he knows Kid Rock, he knows Rap.
I think I like John, even though we disagree on a lot of
everybody.
shit.
And it's like he asks you to go to a
Said-
concert, you know you're gonna have a good time. But if you ask him, your ass is toast. And I don't blame you. Like
problem.
it's
I
so
be nice to everyone, and especially on poison tours. But here's the problem: I have 3,000 people or 6,000 people on my Facebook page, and every one of them wants a ticket, and they want a +1. There's 12,000 tickets that I'm taking away from the band.
Close the door.
Yeah, so make friends with me, and then I'm really screwed.
Go to a rap concert and Twisted Sister. That's what I'm talking about right there. You
Oh,
know,
Oh my
let me
God!
tell you,
Wait, Twisted
John,
Sister. I'm
John,
really close
I don't
friends
know
with
how-
Jesse Blaze Snyder, who's
no
Yeah,
way.
you
son,
said
yeah.
Steve Blaze. John, I don't know how you were going to be able to subject yourself to all those nights of Vince Neil's horrid singing.
Actually, from what I understand, he's done actually really well. He's been with a vocal coach for the last few months.
Vince.
I hope he did because, man, he was horrid on the last tour.
Yeah,
And some of that video you see of his solo stuff, man, oh my God.
I did.
I
heard that he's been
John,
with a
I did
up his game.
I did a cover of what was it? Puddle of Mud with Steve Phillips.
Yeah.
At a convention. I don't even know where we were. But
Those
Steve,
drugs were that good, huh?
no, but still, Steve asked me, you know who Steve Phillips is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Steve says to me, "Have you ever heard this song before?" I said, "Nope." he says, "You're just gonna learn this tonight?" And I said, "Yep."
Why not?
I said, "I do it all the time." And then he told me about, what's his name, Vince?
Vince, yeah.
Yeah, and told me about his bipolar issues. And he said that he had a pedal on the floor that would kick in his lyrics when he lost his shit.
Wow.
I don't know anything about that.
And I know you're not going to affirm this, but I was dying. I'm like, you
So
had a pedal?
when he would have a freaking shit
When
face.
he was having a complete meltdown, Steve had a pedal that he could hit on the floor that would start singing for Vince.
Wow.
I was like,
that is freaking genius.
I was like,
I'm
that's fucked
bipolar
up.
and I don't know when that shit
But,
hits.
so we
Y'all would
started
have a
doing
fucked
Puddle
up
of Mud.
concert.
Wait, we started doing Blurry.
Wow.
I couldn't. They turned the stage lights down, and I couldn't
Uh-huh.
see the damn lyrics at all.
Holy shit.
And I'm like, I knew the chords, but I'm like, so I just started making them up. And
I don't think, hey, I don't
and
think,
Steve says to me afterwards, he goes, "You got them more correct than Vince ever did."
I don't think he's talking about Vince Neil.
Like, dude, I was just making it up.
I think he's
What's
talking
that,
about
Mike?
Puddle of Mud singer, John.
Wes,
Wes, yeah, he's talking about Wes, not Vince. He's talking about Wes from Puddle of Mud.
Oh,
when
Wes, sorry, Wes.
He'd lose his shit and get drunk and all that crap and go
I
crazy.
know Wes very well. We were on tour with him when I
Yeah,
was.
and he
That's
said he had a
nice,
pedal.
man.
So Steve Phillips said he had a pedal that just
Oh,
would kick in the real lyrics because they were all playing to a click, so it would work.
That's super genius, man. I mean that's
He's
enough
like,
level.
he's like,
of
when he went off the
wisdom there.
rails, I just hit the pedal.
oh yeah.
Went off the rails.
I was
I
like,
think
now
every-
He
that
used to
is
go off
rock
the
and
rails a
roll.
lot.
The weird thing is, there's a lot of bands out there nowadays that, because of things like Pro Tools and what's that other one?
I'm well versed in
What's that freaking
Cubase.
they can use to adjust?
What's
The
other one?
synthesizer?
Hey,
No, there's a program that they use. I can't think of the name of it.
I know what you're talking.
It could make me sing like freaking Pavarotti if I.
Really?
No,
Oh,
it doesn't.
iCloud?
No,
It can correct your voice too. It
It corrects your voice?
corrects. It puts you in.
Look, I'm real high right now, so I'm getting very excited about this app.
well, Cher started all of it.
Things like
Like, you know what I could do with this? Because I've been doing a lot of TikToks, and I'm just saying social social distancing has not distanced me from my phone. I've gotten max power. Max power. My phone goes down, the cell, it's just like, it just dies. It doesn't even warn me no more. I just be like, yeah, Mike, and hi, Mike. Every time I talk to you, it just fucking goes off. You're like, yeah, and then now he's calling me on my laptop. Oh yeah, I gotta switch to my laptop. Let me hurry up and plug it in. He says, no. He's like, no. I have 5 minutes.
The first time I met Steve Phillips was because somebody introduced us and said to him, this was the new lead singer in your band. And I was like, I had no idea who he was. I'd never heard Puddle of Mud in my life. I was like, whatever.
Good band.
And so was he. Yeah, they were good. Wes was a white hot fucking mess.
Always has been.
And
a lot of them are, man.
Apparently they wrote Blurry together.
Hey, speaking of John, speaking of Rat, did you see the new Geico commercial yet?
Yeah, I did. It's awesome.
Oh my God. Isn't that amazing?
I love it.
See, I'm telling
what
you,
is old is new. I need to make money off that shit, Mike.
These youngsters do not understand, like, they're in quarantine. If they went through a Hurricane Gloria in the 80s with just 5 channels because your parents didn't have cable and you had the U, and then you had the youngest one always had to have the bunny rabbit foil and then hold the pinky toe up, and you fed them first. You fed them first because you knew they had to watch. You had to watch Good Times. That would be us.
Come on. Good
no,
Times.
Hey, wait a
minute.
You got Netflix.
The best part of childhood
Good Times was the greatest show ever.
Black and white TVs.
Huh?
Those old black and white TV.
What, the TV that we used to put on top of the TV?
Yeah, and you're like scanning through for channels, and that guy.
Take that bitch into the fish tank.
The guy next door's got that big ass satellite, and all of a sudden you see a boob on the channel, and you're like, "Holy crap, is that a titty?" And you're trying to like get come in a little more. You're like, "Oh my God, it is 2 titties! Oh my God!"
Hey, did you know that you can clear the channel? Wait, did you know that you can clear the channel if you put a quarter inside the Nintendo and press AB, and then wrap it around the cord? You can see all the porn.
Really?
Yeah. Black people do a whole bunch of shit to get stuff for free.
Shit, brother has the room in the wire. So
they are very inventive. I'm telling you,
I gotta ask.
Put the aluminum foil inside the back of the. I'm telling you, look. You take the.
Wait, you found porn?
Yes. You take the cable. You take the cable, and you would have to touch. You would have to touch it to where you still get in the cable, and then you would put aluminum foil, real tiny, inside there. And then it's like an antenna, so you would have to have the person on.
So you like MacGyvered that shit.
Yeah. And then turn it just a little bit, and you'd be like, oh, "What's that?"
And if you turned it like another quarter of an inch, it could have been a nuclear weapon.
Shit, I just watch the next door neighbors through the windows.
Okay.
My question is, KiKi, why were you watching porn?
This sounds like an Ethan Hawke movie.
Exactly.
Hey, I never said I did. I'm just saying what I heard.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just hear
I did it. That's what you heard, huh?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm just one man thinning out the herd.
Yeah, but I never heard that one.
Hey, I was just trying to get on another subject.
New uses for tinfoil.
Y'all were above my pay grade with that music. I'm like, Twisted Sister, yeah, Rat, yeah. Y'all keep going. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck y'all talking about.
No, I saw my tinfoil on the alleyway.
I was like, well, because I think they're gonna think I'm just a token black girl that's just real quiet throughout the whole thing. I said, I need to change this fucking subject so they know I can fucking talk. Y'all motherfuckers just didn't have me say one fucking word.
Oh my God.
Grandmaster Flash.
Oh.
Tries
my
to make it interesting and stuff, but I'm just like, you know what? Let me just fucking speak right now so everybody can wake the fuck up when they watch this shit. Okay, proceed.
You
Grandmaster
just said
Flash.
pussy?
With love, with love.
We all
Run
love
DMC.
See, no one ain't.
Oh my
Hey,
God.
look, no one has ever met a medium like me, very down to fucking earth. Every time they be with the damn singing bowl and stuff, oh, let's just, take it in. I'm like, nah, bitch, we gonna take this so we don't have to beat a nigga. So we gonna sit here with this motherfucking bowl and we gonna pray some fucking shit out. You understand me? We gonna get
Look at John.
this shit. Now we gonna take a couple of deep fucking breaths, but we gonna try to get this shit.
It's hot as the car
Mike,
right now.
we
Yeah.
have to change the name of this podcast to KiKi on Fire.
Coronavirus.
Smoking.
Oh my God.
Damn. This
KiKi,
was
please ding that thing again, because we like the ding.
John, did you expect this?
No, well, yeah, I watched you guys last week.
He was like, I wonder when she's gonna speak.
This is good.
Like, she's kind of quiet. Like, nah.
Yeah, John, I'm sure this is going well for you.
Oh,
Hey, the running joke is you got to get your time in because Johnathan don't shut up. So
Man!
you got to get your time in.
I feel like a bulldozer. I gotta, I'm living in Cali now, so my Cali mind is all feng shui, and yeah, man, everything's totally fucking dude. But when I'm with him, I gotta get all East Coast. Like, look, motherfucker, I gotta talk, okay? Let me say fucking shit, okay?
I love you.
Ryan, last week.
Look at me. Listen. I gotta be all like that. Yeah.
Wait a minute. So Johnathan was late last week. So KiKi and me were talking, and then Ocho showed up, and they're like, "Wow, we can actually talk. Johnathan ain't here." And then he popped up, and you're like, "So fuck."
I had no part.
I was fighting with my soon-to-be ex-wife.
It was a swell ping pong match of conversation.
Hey, we all love you, Johnathan. They're just giving you
Jonathan,
shit, okay?
I liked meeting John. I hate all you guys.
You hate all of us?
Hey, hate is another 4-letter word for love.
Well, that's what I meant.
So, what else do y'all want to talk about before we go?
What exciting dishes has everybody cooked this week?
I think we pretty much cooked it.
All I heard was titties. It was this conversation.
Yeah, as soon as she said titties, I was totally distracted.
People are gonna be trying that technique.
I am hopelessly heterosexual.
You know damn good and well they're going to be on their Nintendo going, where'd she say
But hey, there's no more DSL no more. It's all through the internet, so that trick won't work. Ha ha. How's that? What's that boy on Simpsons? Ha ha.
You must respect KiKi's authority.
Hey, I did watch a new show
saying.
on Netflix. Hey, y'all, the new Big Show shows on Netflix.
I
You know who his best friend?
Oh,
you know who his best
wait,
friend is?
wait.
Urkel.
Hold on. I have one thing I want to recommend before we get off, because my acting student saw it and made me watch it, and it was absolutely profound and unbelievable. And it's a Turkish film called Miracle in Cell Number 7. And
What platform is it on?
it's on Netflix.
Okay.
Circle on Cell 7?
Miracle in Cell Number 7.
I'll have to look for that.
And
I'm finishing up 13 Reasons right now.
the actor
Oh,
was in it. My
one or two.
my acting student said to me, I wonder what he's like in real life, because he plays a guy with terrible mental incapacity. And in actual real life, even though he's acting, he works as an engineer on airplanes, and his performance is so unbelievable, like just next level. And
will it have you cry?
to look it up, yeah, it'll have you cry a lot.
Oh.
I just got 3 words for you. You ready?
Nah.
Fuck Carol Baskin.
Hey, I made a TikTok. Hey, I made a TikTok today with Carol Baskin. That's why my hair is blonde.
Did you watch that yet, Ocho?
That's what I get for trying to be real.
Part of it. And I was like,
Watch it, John.
Fucking Baskin.
where's you in?
Fuck you, Carol Baskin.
Yes.
Really
Have
killed
you
it.
watched it, John?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Dennis, the guy that you see in that movie that was riding his motorcycle, that had the long beard and it was flowing about halfway through it. Dennis is the one that had my tiger.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I had one. She's her name's Babuva. There's pictures of her, of me and her on my Facebook. Now she's like 7 feet. If she stands on her back, she's about 7 foot tall and about 1,400 pounds.
Wow.
Wow.
But I won't get in the cage with her anymore. I only got into it in her cage till she was about 4.
Hey, KiKi.
Jeez.
Where?
Look, I got my stimulus, so I'm gonna give me a tiger.
She's gonna get a smoothie.
Fuck the weed, give me a tiger.
Me
That's
my
the new
party.
pit bull of 2020.
You sound like
Ocho's trying
Donald
to say
Trump
something.
Jr.
Hold on a second. Ocho's trying to say something. What, Ocho?
I said, KiKi, we're minorities. We don't go buy tigers.
Well,
Anything that's gonna bite
by
our
the
ass.
time I be by them,
Ocho,
it's gonna be
it's
bought.
pretty simple. Ocho, it's called Tiger Mart.
No. Anything
It's the newest superstore in the
I'm
U.S.
just gonna go to Mike Tyson
Tiger
and say,
Mart.
Mike. He can
Tiger
say,
Mart.
yes.
You can't
I'm
get
gonna be
toilet
like, Mike,
paper or anything
yes.
else there, but you can
Can
get
I
a
buy
tiger.
Yeah, you could buy a kitten. You got this money too.
all we're own is a pit bull. That's
Just
it.
look up tigermart.com.
Oh, thank you. If it's
I'm
gonna
guessing that there's a website for that.
So if you
I
want,
don't think.
People are really gonna buy a tiger with their stimulus money.
believe me. No, if you want to see Dennis and see my tiger and his, there's a YouTube video called "The Tiger Next Door," it was in Indiana.
Uh-huh.
And the city, it was weird because the city, there was one dickhead in the city. Now Dennis had like 100 and something acres, and he had like corrugated steel fences 20 something feet high. Those cats weren't going anywhere. And one dickhead in the city raised all kinds of hell because of his criminal record in the past. And he's like, they got to get rid of him. They got to get rid of him. And I'm like, we all went to fought him, and then the state wound up siding with him. And the game wardens were bringing in roadkill, and the turkey farm down the street was bringing in all their waste and scraps, and it saved Dennis a lot. But he wound up having to get. For all I know, she's in fucking Florida with that bitch now. I don't know where he had.
Carol Baskin.
But
Yeah.
you see, the funny
Fucking
thing is, the funny thing is that then you have people of privilege, and there's no race with privilege now because anybody can have money, that are taking pictures with tigers and stuff in safaris, like it's game, and they're endangered species. Now you have people that want to raise them in captivity. Because technically, you have poachers out there that even if you were to send them out into the wild, you're sending them out there with the 50-50 shot. That's like getting a crackhead, like, here's a gram. See how long you can last on your gram during your 12 steps. That is not right.
Hey, John, I got a question.
Bam! That wouldn't even get me in the door.
Hey, I was getting all interested. You see how they be cutting me off? They're like, nah, she be making
John,
sense.
I got a question for you. So, you know they're making a movie about the Tiger King, right?
Are they really?
Yeah. What if you were cast to be one of his gay voices? Would you do it?
What?
I'm just asking you a question.
You know who I work for? Hell no.
She's like, well,
Okay, let me ask you this. Since Ocho and you are actors, and Johnathan too are actors, If you were able to be cast in the Tiger King, which one would you want to be?
Oh, I would definitely be the fake gay lover.
I'd be the girl that stick her hand in the damn gate.
What about you, John?
I'll just dye my hair blonde and I'll be Carol.
Okay, what about
I'd
you,
be
Ocho?
Carol Baskin.
Huh?
No one wants to be the guy that has sex with underage girls.
Oh, I
That's
would
me.
do that.
Damn, hold on.
Wait, for God's sakes, Mike knows I've
He
played
walks
serial
on
killers in
elephant-
enough.
I mean,
I've played
he
like
sits on
disturbed
elephants
serial
and-
killers in enough movies. I mean, I don't care, right, Mike?
I'm just saying,
I
Tiger
want to
King
be the
has
guy that's got. I want to be the
but no
guy
one's
that looks
talking
like
about sex
the.
ring.
I'd be whichever job pays me.
Exactly. I'll be the shit shoveler. I don't care.
Yeah, whatever.
I might get
whatever.
paid to suck dick,
Just
but I
pay
ain't doing
me,
that.
and I'll play the part.
They said David Spade's probably going to play the Tiger.
Be careful on what you might want to get paid for there.
Does it involve porn? I'm all in.
I don't know.
Oh, hell no.
No. I don't even want to see my own body, so I don't even want to pay people.
Hey,
To see.
I'll tell you a true story. Speaking of porn,
I could have made money on porn for years, and I
I met
haven't.
this girl, I met this girl in Oklahoma, and we got into her fucking car, and she was like, we got busy and we got down. The next day she calls me and says, I want 10 grand. And I said, for what?
For what?
So I had cameras in the car and I videotaped everything. Now this is the days of MySpace. So I'm on MySpace and I'm going, attention everyone. If you get proposed to buy a porn with me in it, buy it by the minute instead of the flat rate. It'll be a hell of a lot quicker and cheaper. Save your money. This bitch went off. You're an asshole.
Since the Rona here in Bakersfield, we have a little a Sunstep strip. It's called Union Avenue. These poor ladies are walking around naked.
Where's that
In Union, in Bakersfield, California, on
They
Union
walk around
Avenue.
naked?
They're walking around naked.
Hold on, I'm booking a flight.
The Desert Star Motel or whatever. They're just up and down the street, just walking naked, and I'm just like, wow. Because the Johns ain't out. They can't sneak away because of social distancing. The wife gonna be like, "Where are you going?"
Some of them look good though.
Yeah, they're walking. Watch, I'm gonna go out tomorrow. I'm gonna take pictures at 2:00 in the afternoon.
Oh, good. Oh,
2
goody.
o'clock in the
I don't think I want to see these.
I don't want to hook up with a chick that looks
I'm gonna
mean.
show y'all some footage. These freaking whores are out here during the day, butthole naked. No bra, no panties, just walking around, just like, come on, please. I don't have Rona. Please, please.
Cincinnati to Bakersfield. Hold on.
My wife,
Like, no, I might have syphilis.
when
I
I was
don't
living,
have Rona. Please, you could
when
just.
I was living in Venice, my wife said that to me when there was a, I'm going to say a nicer word, lady of the evening.
The
Walking down
lady
the
of the
street
night.
at around noon,
Yeah, the
at around noon with her boobs hanging out, and my wife said to me, "I think all boobs are beautiful," and I said, "Well, there's what separates you from me."
Hell no.
Oh,
I said, "Because to me, those are not beautiful."
some are as flat as a
I felt
pancake.
terrible.
Oh, some of them look like fucking softballs and socks.
Some look like little 9-year-old boy boobs.
You got those fucking 36 longs. Those ain't boobs. Those are
Oh
fucking-
my God. Are you sure y'all are not the same sex?
An appropriate time for boobage.
2 eggs with a rusty nail.
I don't know. Mine look like two Pontian Raymond pups, so I have to have protection for the brassiere. So,
Well played, Kiki.
I go home and then, we gotta,
All right, I'm going on the Brazzers now.
Y'all are crazy.
You got me out here with my flashlight. The sun's going down. I can't sit in the house because the dogs are making me sneeze, and I don't want people thinking I got the Rona. It's like I'm telling a spooky story. I'll give you a story. Would you like a reading?
Free porn and a movie.
John, it was nice to meet you. Mike, I love you.
You too, brother.
But I do have to teach my acting class now, so I gotta go.
All righty.
Oh yeah, I got to finish up 13
Ocho,
minutes.
good to see you.
See y'all.
Later, guys.
Later.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.